Hi, this is Aptamer with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 5th of August. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which seems to be buzzing like a bee now. We've bounced off the floor of that rising trend channel there, which was around 90.30. Above that, we were looking for a return to the basically the top of the rising trend channel from last year, the green one around the 90.60 area, and then obviously the top of the channel as high as 92.40 by the end of this month. Looks at the way things are at the moment, we might actually get there ahead of schedule, but obviously that does depend on things like World War III and tariffs, probably more of the latter than the former. So the current situation, we're not too far away from that 92.40 area, and then maybe as we get closer to that, we can upgrade the upside for this market. I suppose it would be along the lines, literally, of the line I'm drawing there. So that's heading towards the 9400 area, and maybe that would be a target for next month while we stay above the 9030 zone. Moving along to the DAX, and here this market got a bit of a punch last week with the tariffs, etc. It's trying to do what we wanted it to do, which was and is to break back above the 50-day line. Problem with the 50-day line at the moment, though, is it is falling 23,900. So we need an end-of-day close back above that to put us back on track for a move up towards 25,000 plus by the end of this month, which at the moment looks like a bit of a stretch, but there we go. On the downside, 23,000, the obvious support area, the June support. And the other thing which is missing, apart from a break back above the 50-day line, is also getting the RSI back above 50. So perhaps most of us would just say, let's wait for RSI 50 plus and a push back above that 50-day line. Moving on to the Dow, where obviously things were shot in the foot by the tariff situation, but what we've had in the end is a rebound off the 50-day line there, 43,800, and we're already back above that mid-July support around 43,800. The longer we stay above that, the greater the chance we've got of breaking through 45,000 and getting up to the top of the rising trend channel from May last year, as high as 47,400. I suppose one would be a bit optimistic to say we could get there by the end of this month if we get a quick result through 45,000, but maybe by the end of next month would be the target while we're above the 50-day line. RSI back above 50, which is a good look, as is the way that yesterday was a gap close buy signal, so right back above the top of the gap there. So multiple signals, helpful signals on the Dow at the moment. Moving on to the cryptos, and given that they are a bit risk on, risk off in terms of mirroring the equity markets, you can see that Bitcoin has bounced back. We effectively bounced off the old May resistance, 112,000, and the 50-day line and the floor of that rising trend channel. The only thing missing at the moment is to get back above 115,000, which was the July support, and also RSI 50 versus 47 at the moment. So with those two missing ingredients, we could then head up towards the top of the rising trend channel there from March. Currently predicting a target as high as 130,000. I suppose realistically we'd be looking for that in September, not in August now, unless something very sharp or very exciting happens in the world of crypto. Moving on to Ethereum, which has actually been, at least in the near term, looking a bit more lively than Bitcoin. Here we're back above the top of the old rising trend channel base, the previous target area 3560, and above that, looking for this market to head as high as 4,400 by the end of next month. Obviously, the longer we can spend above the 3,500 zone, the mid-July support, the better it is for this market. We have had an RSI 50 rebound, which in itself can be a leading indicator on the upside, and actually has been over the last couple of sessions. Gold is next, and here we're looking for this market to finally break that resistance line projection from April. That's around 34.30. It's been a mysteriously strong barrier, but we do have a rising 50-day line. We do have a bounce off the floor of the channel, and RSI in the mid 50s. So hopefully this time, fourth time lucky perhaps, we'll get through 34.30 and head up towards 3,800 perhaps by the end of next month. So that finally a new leg to the upside could be on its way. At the moment, not expecting anything lower than 3,200 on any rug pull that may be delivered. Moving along to the stocks and starting off with Aptamer, where I've been a lone promoter of this situation in terms of the technicals, at least. Here we're fast approaching the top of the channel there, 0.52 pence, and above that looking for up to 0.7 pence, maybe as soon as the end of this month now, given the way things seem to be speeding up a bit at the stock. The 0.7 area, also the support area last June 2024 as well, so sort of adds up. And the upside value while we're above the 0.43 level, which has been recent resistance. On to ACG Metals, where the challenge for the stock is to get up to £10 by the end of next month. At the moment, making a very good job of it. We've got a massive U-shaped turnaround here. A nice handle on the right-hand side of the formation. So next time we break £7.10, we should go all the way back up to £10 for this situation. Upside valid at least while we're above the £6.20 area, recent extended support. You can also see that the RSI has been at or above neutral 50 since way back at the beginning of May. So this is a very strong situation indeed, at least on a technical basis, and backed up by the way that we've also got the 50 and 200-day lines rising. So hopefully £10 by the end of the next month is a feasible target. Moving along to CapAI, where it was suggested yesterday that the news was strong enough to give the shares a move up to the low 0.6s, and that's exactly what we got today, 0.63. Currently just below that, but at least while we're above recent resistance around 0.52, which is obviously also today's low, looking for the shares to retest the 0.8 pence zone, perhaps as soon as the end of this month. On to CapEx, which has also been championed by me in a very persistent and very measured way. Here we've hit the target there, this third target there, right on the nose at 0.45. And obviously there's a bit of a retracement now, but I suppose the next challenge is to work out what the next level up would be. Probably at this stage, one would be looking for the shares to hit the top of a rising trend channel, which I'm going to try and draw on now, heading for the 0.6 pence area, maybe by the end of this month. But that's valid while we need to get an end of day close basically above 0.45 to get the 0.6 pence. On CapEx, two RSI 50 rebounds in the recent past, and we haven't actually been below RSI 50 since the early part of May. So this is also a very strong situation technically. Moving along to Diageo, where the main point of interest for me is seeing whether the company will bite the bullet and sell off Guinness, which seems to be the jewel in the crown, which is probably the reason why it's not doing that. But we've got a bear trap gap reversal here. It looks as though the bears have been caught off guard in quite a big way. Top of that broadening triangle base at £20.06, which is what we're looking for. We get an end of day close up above the 50-day moving average at £19.20, which we may just about get. On to Focurite, where musicians will know this is a decent brand and actually a very good company, I suppose, in terms of the product and how it's doing. Here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel base. I was going to cover the stock yesterday, but I just wanted to see whether it could get through the 50-day line, which it has at £1.71. Above that 50-day line, looking for £2.15 as soon as the end of next month. RSI has also broken through the neutral 50 level. On to Gelion, which I interviewed, I think, a few weeks back. The shares obviously still enjoying the aftermath of that. We've had a gap up today through resistance at 25 pence. Above 25 pence, looking for 35 pence by the end of this month. Not many people look at the following stock, which is Gattaca, but it is here with a unfilled gap to the upside. Looks as though we've got a wide rising trend channel base here, top of the channel there, as high as £1.13. Looking for that by the end of next month, giving it a bit of time while we're above the floor of the gap there, around 90 pence. So it should actually get to £1.13 by the end of this month, but pretending to be a bit conservative on that one. Double and triple RSI rebounds at the neutral 50 level at the start of this month, so they did flag a potential move to the upside. Onto a stock which I've never looked at before, but because we've got a dearth of small caps, looking at Oxford Nanopore. Here it looks as though we've got a mid-move consolidation ahead of a fresh move to the upside, up to £2.65, perhaps by the end of this month. V-shaped bull flag, I call it as well. So the pullback and then right back up again. And the rally started with a gap through resistance. So this has got everything which looks good on the chart at the moment. And looking for £2.60 while we're above recent support around the £1.99 level. In fact, that's the low of the day. Slightly frustrating with Westmount Energy, where I've been looking at it for days, but sort of saying let's give it a bit more time and see if some news comes out. Obviously, there's been no proper news for this stock at all, apart from Holdings and Company, which is not actually very helpful. So for once, one probably would or could do with an RNS. Current situation is that even though the share's already gone through the roof, looking for up to 2.4 pence over the near term, which is the top of that broadening triangle. If you're an optimist, you probably would be saying that the real target here could be up to 3.2 pence. Given the spike resistance line that can be drawn from the spike that we had a couple of years back. But 2.4 and then 3.2 on the cards there, especially while we're above the 1.5 pence area, which was resistance on the way down. On to another situation which is not normally looked at here, which is Smith and Nephew. Here we've had a break of the range, which was hinted at in the RNS hot list this morning. The company doing rather better than the market's given it credit for, but it has done that for years. The upper parallel of that rising trend channel there from November, heading for around the £14.60 level, which we're looking for by the end of this month, while we remain above the old resistance from August last year at £12.50. So let's see if Smith and Nephew can step up to the plate. Stock which is we're going to finish off with, which is YouGov, and here you can see that the market may be also caught out by how good the update was today. In fact, we've got a bear trap island reversal, so we gapped down back in July and have gapped up now, top of the range and top of the channel there at £4.14, which is what we're looking for by the end of this month, while we remain above the 50-day line at £3.40. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.